Good day, ladies and gents, my name is Hyozo and I'm disgusting. Today we are going to talk about something that I have been following for the past week or so, which I wanted to gather as much information as possible before I made a video of it. The story, of course, is about Ubisoft's unique and amazing take at being as woke as possible and giving people exactly what they want: more diversity and inclusion and less story and relatable characters. These and many more improvements over traditional storytelling will come in their upcoming game Assassin's Creed Shadows, which will feature, of course, as everyone knows it, the Black Retainer Yasuke. And I'm saying retainer because he was never a samurai. He received some training, but he was never actually a samurai. The only reason he actually existed is because his master, who's Oda Nobunaga, was actually a bit of an eccentric and wanted to surround himself with all kinds of strange people that were not fitting in traditional Japan. And Yasuke, being a darker skinned individual and very strong reportedly, was the perfect candidate. But back to the game. So I found a little bit of information. A lot of it was already reported before by other YouTubers, but I wanted to just include all of it and add some things on my own. So first we're going to talk something about Grum's posted 10 days ago, and this is of course the changing of the storyline for Assassin's Creed Shadows. So in his post here from May 15, he actually posted some pictures that explain from another channel the original story, the original supposed story, which would follow a young monk whose name was Yamauchi Taka, sorry if I'm butchering the name by the way, who is a monk. And he's the playable ancestor as per the post. Taka means hawk, which is actually nice, good. It's a cool thing to have. And it's revolving around the Sword of Eden or Excalibur. So basically expanding the meat of Excalibur and going back even further. First of all, I want to add something before I continue. I should have added it in the beginning of the video, but anyways, I have played very little Assassin's Creed games. Never quite grabbed me, as in terms of gameplay. Storyline is another completely different thing that I enjoyed. I've read some of the stories, I've watched the cinematic trailers, just never got around to delving in and playing the games. That doesn't mean I don't like them. I just don't know exactly the intricacies of the storylines and the characters and everything. So I'm not going to talk about actual historical accuracy. From what I know, in one of the games, I think it was the first, you actually fist fight the Pope, so I'm not going to touch on that, in the sense that I'm not going to correlate events that would happen in Assassin's Creed with actual historical events that much, just to avoid some confusion. Moving on. And so this storyline actually sounds cool. You already have an established character, you have the end game, the conflict maker, and you have additional story for Oda Nobunaga, who's Yasuke's retainer, master, owner, job giver, I don't know how it was called. And you have the storyline how he was killed by Hattori Hanzo, then the sword is stolen, and etc, etc. The whole story is good. There's several pages of it. This is the original art, I think, or fan art that would correspond to that storyline, and look at how good it looks. It looks proper. It looks just like how you would expect a Japanese-based Assassin's Creed to look like, just like with the other ones. Like with Assassin's Creed Valhalla, you wouldn't expect, let's say, a Turkish or Spanish person to be the main protagonist there, right? You would expect a freaking Viking, which is what we got from what I saw in the videos. So in any case, this is one of the posts I wanted to talk about because it shows clearly what the concept could have been, and it would just be the next Assassin's Creed game, which would have been considerably good, probably even amazing, and people would play it because they would expect the next Assassin's Creed game in the next region with the next set of rules and the next set of assassins that span across continents. Nothing wrong with that, and amazing. But it didn't happen because modern entertainment pushes things like good storytelling, relatable characters, human characters that you could actually invest yourself with and connect to at an emotional and deep level, and replaces them with woke agenda, girl bosses, perfectionism with underrepresented demographic of people. So Ubisoft went out of their way to actually change everything that would have made their game amazing and replace it with this black retainer who goes by the name of Yasuke, who has no backstory before being sent or arriving to Japan, and who has no other distinguishing characteristics in history or in anything apart from being black. And now comes the moment where I want to tell you something. It's not about him being black. It's not about that. It was never about that. It's okay to race swap, race change, whatever. We have a lot of examples where that worked, but you have to do it not because you can do it, just because they're going to be black or they're going to be female and not male, but to do it smart. And in this case, it's not about Yasuke being black, but it's just because he is black and existed there as a historical figure. Just because of that, you should make him the main protagonist. Nothing else. He didn't do anything special. He wasn't a hero. He wasn't just some legend that you can actually bring back to life. He was just a black man in Japan. That's it. He was the only probably black person in Japan, but that's it. You don't have anything else that distinguishes him. And to have him play as an assassin when he wasn't even a proper samurai, especially when being an assassin means working secretly and not standing out and blending in with the crowd, which is a bit difficult to do in these situations, especially when you're the only one who looks like you in a certain area. That's when things fall apart. It will never be profitable or likable to do these things, because what you're trying to do is just insert wokeness and diversity and inclusion and everything else just for the sake of having it, because you're locked in and you're forced to do it, and you have to do it to tick the boxes that someone has given you to tick. I can actually bet, and I'm willing to bet, that a lot of the developers and designers and creators of Assassin's Creed Shadows don't want to do that. They didn't want to change the story like that, and they didn't want to have it played like that, but they were forced because the company, the managers from above say, hey, we need to take this box to receive the funding or to have the approval of this group or this group and to not get bullied. And by doing so, you're just bending the knee and sacrificing good quality numbers, loyal fans that will continue to bring you revenue for the years to come, just for the sake of pleasing a very small but very loud group of people. Because woke people and inclusiveness and diversity folk, they are not as many as they will have you believe. They're a few, but they're very loud. They just make a lot of noise, and that makes them appear more and more in numbers. And that has been proven over and over again with the failure of woke shows and woke games and woke trailers. There has been ratioed, there has been no viewership, there has been bad comments, there has been opinions from actual fans. You have Doctor Who with a history of 60 years that is now dead because of poor viewership. You have Star Trek, Star Wars, all once great shows that are now dead. And the reason for this is because you bend the knee to these people, and I'm going to play the clip. You know the clip, everybody knows the clip. Just listen again, just to have a little bit of a reminder.
If you're a creative working in AAA, which I did for many, many years, put this stuff up to your higher-ups. And if they don't see the value in what you're asking for when you ask for consultants, when you ask for research, go have a coffee with your marketing team and just terrify them with the possibility of what's going to happen if they don't give you what you want.
Just terrify them. So you have consultancy groups and consultancy companies that insert themselves into your company, that's something that you have a vision for, and they bring it down from the inside. Why? Because from somewhere they have an amazing funding that doesn't seem to end, by the way, and this funding is from other groups that want to impose a form of speech that they would deem good, and it would allow them to control you better than now. Because when you have freedom of speech, freedom of expression, and freedom to do whatever you want and however you like it for the game that you want, in this case, then you're not easy to control. And then you have other people that will not be easy to control, and these people will like your game and probably the messages that you want to present, and that does not fall into the narrative. Now, I know I'm sounding like a conspiracy geek here, but that's just what happens. These things were discussed years ago and people laughed when the first seeds was sown, and now we have all of these games and movies and TV shows, even music, that is just so politically correct and just has this neutered language that doesn't allow them to express whatever they want to express, and it's only going to get worse. Now, what we are going to do and what we are doing as fans of different franchises, of different shows, of different games, we express our opinions by such reviews and such things like down ratioed because we don't like it, not because we're just hateful. Don't get those two things confused. We just express ourselves the best way that we can, and they're trying to censor us on every way, but they're not going to succeed because for the moment we're still having this thing called freedom of expression, and no matter what happens, me and others like me and bigger channels, we're going to continue to put out these videos, to put out our opinions, and to continue to expose those people and bash them every chance we get, because this is what needs to happen for us to be able to bring back things the way they should be. And on this note, I want to remind you of what was before. We had shows that mattered. We had shows with every season being 15, 20 episodes. Shows like Stargate, Star Trek, 24 or 26 episodes each season, telling great stories, taking their time. Now we have shows with 6 to 8 episodes, compressing the storyline just so they can tell it faster and not spend a lot of money on productions because the risk is so high, because they have to tick so many boxes, and in most of the cases these shows fall short because they just don't meet the expectations of the only group of people they should be concerned about, their fans. And when you don't meet these demands and these expectations, your show is going to fail and you will lose money. And I know that they have big sponsors, but even those money will eventually end. And I know I went a little bit off topic, but everything in this video is connected. And just to get back to Assassin's Creed Shadows, because at the beginning of the video I mentioned the progression that Ubisoft took. And once you had the trailer and the reveal that it's going to be Yasuke as the main character and a girl samurai or ninja or whatever as the second protagonist, people were immediately outraged. The trailer was ratioed. It was a very clear expression that this is not something they want to see or play. And instead of Ubisoft doing a grown-up thing, they did what most companies in these times do. They doubled down, and now reportedly, but I don't know if it's confirmed yet, Yasuke is going to be either bisexual or non-binary, which just mentioning that seems laughable because first of all, how? These terms, especially non-binary, didn't become popular or existent until recent years, and back then people were having a little bit more to worry about than to make up artificial worries for themselves and to just stand out. And these are things that I can talk in a separate video, which is not even connected to gaming, but for now just want to express how childish this company is acting, because they're doubling down on the hate, piling more things that people will hate, and then when the game finally releases and nobody buys it, they're going to be like, oh, misogyny, oh, we were right, they are racist, they're everything. No, Nobody's racist here. People are just unsatisfied because they're not getting something that they want. And gamers deserve to get what they want in this case, because they're the ones who are going to buy and play your game. So the only thing and the only group of people you should consult when making your next big blockbuster AAA video game are the people who are going to play, not a consultancy agency, not a diversity and inclusion group of people who don't know a thing about gaming, and not some artificially made people who just want to insert their ideology into things they don't understand, they don't care about, and they don't want to see succeed. They just want more and more things to have their ideology. It's not about quality, it's about just more and more things until everything has their ideology. They don't care if it's going to be good, they care that it's going to have their views, even if it's bad. You can hate it, but that will be all that there is. That's what they care about. So Ubisoft just proved to everyone that this is how the standards will be for the other big game studios that fall down for these woke weirdos. I don't have any other word to describe them. And that is why people will turn more and more to indie games, because indie developers, they don't give one damn about what any woke group thinks. They just want to make an entertaining game, and they want people to play that game and buy their game so that they can put food on the table, and they do it with a passion that other companies, big companies in the past had, and they'll continue to do so. Thank you for watching this video. It was a bit longer, but if you watched it until now, very much thank you. If you enjoyed it, subscribe, leave a comment, leave a like, tell me what you think, follow me on Patreon and on my other social media, and if you want to, we can discuss something a little bit more different in the future. Cheers and stay fresh.